is there, I guess, like really a way you guys can sum a game like that up? I mean, it was just kind of improbable at like certain times. First you lost the lead, and then you kind of had to like do kind of claw back and get it back. I mean, I guess what kind of a win, or I guess what kind of like momentum can this win kind of can kind of create for you guys just moving forward here?
I don't think it's kind of like it's a reluctant win. You know, we practiced terrible for 3 days straight, and this is the kind of performance that we came out on the court. The same way we played today, that's the same way we went through the motion, and things wasn't falling right, and you know, that's how we played. They're a really good team. They're different from the past couple of years. They got confidence, they got heart, and they was just gonna come out here and show us that they're not a slouch team anymore. And we kind of took it for granted as a whole, and they hit shots, and when you got a team that shoot 3-pointers as good as them, they're gonna stay in the game the whole time.
Yeah. Second half, they start hitting threes. We started running back on defense. We had a 10-point lead. We started playing like the game was over. They crawled back. They showed heart. They got hot. Then we just had to keep fighting. Just good to pull out the victory.
Cardell, what you guys are down 11-12, and all of a sudden it's like a 3-point game. What got you guys back into?
I think, like I said, the reason that we gave up that lead initially, we kind of let our foot off the gas a little bit. We stopped respecting our opponent, and it gave them life, and then we got desperate when we were down. We definitely didn't want to lose at home. We feel like we have a lot of confidence right now, and this was one of those games that we regret for a long time if we would have lost. So, I felt like we pulled that one out of desperation.
Cardinal, were you surprised to see them shooting those NBA range threes, and is that part of the scouting report?
No, that's what they do. They have guys. I can't, no disrespect to him, but I can't pronounce his name. Number 11, Ben. He shoots it from anywhere. As long as he's over half court. His coach gives him the confidence in that. He has the confidence in his own shot, and even Major. He's a small guy. He's only 5'8", 5'9". But he's a really good shooter. In film, that's all they did was shooting from that deep. So we kind of knew that they would, and I think sometimes like I said, we didn't respect them, and we were slow on some rotations, and they got confidence. They got some easy shots early, and anybody knows you get a couple easy looks going into the basket, you feel like you can hit it from anywhere, and that's what they did.
When they have guys that can shoot the ball like that and have the ability to drive, how hard is it to defend somebody like that?
It's tough. It's very tough. They play different. This is one of the most unique teams we played since we've been playing zone. They kind of play 4 guards around a big man, and even Earl Brown, is not a traditional big man. Even he can stretch the defense a little bit. So it was kind of different from us. They got shooters all around the perimeter, so we had to stay urgent and talk about where our matchups were and who was where and what shooter was on what side of the floor. I think sometimes we stopped talking and communicating, and we lost a couple guys, and it made it interesting.
You guys have had some struggles defensively all year long. Haven't been in a situation where you've been able to string defensive stops together to come back and pull out a win. To be able to do that today, is that an injection of confidence? What does that do for you guys to be able to string? They had 2 points in the last 3:42 or something like that.
That just goes out to show us that in any defense, man or zone, you got to work hard. You got to move on the flight of the ball. Whenever we active and sliding our feet, everybody talking, communicating, we get stops. But then when we start getting tired or shots on offense not going down, then we get a little lackadaisical and they start scoring.
What you guys have done is at least 2 good games of rebounds, especially offensively. Is that you, or is that focus?
One thing coming into conference play, even though my shot hasn't been falling as good as I wanted to, my coach just kept telling me, it's not about the shot, it's about, getting the win. And for us to win, we need me, Lump, Hawk, Mike, Aaron, all of us to rebound, and that's what they installed us tonight and before. And every other game that we have in this conference, we have to rebound. We're not as big as a lot of teams. But we have dogs on this team, and on the offensive side, if the rebound come up, that's our chance to get the ball, score it, or get an extra possession. And that's what we're trying to keep doing. That's what we're going to keep doing, and hopefully the best come out.
When St. Francis is going on a run like that, and you are kind of struggling on the offensive end, is that almost kind of a deflating a feeling for you guys, like really just to see that lead kind of just disappear like pretty quickly?
Nah. At the same time, it wasn't like they were doing anything for us to miss shots. We had some good looks, we had some forced shots, and at the end of the day, we know that it comes down to defense. And I don't think they ever seen a 1-2-2 press having a lead up like that, and they wasn't expecting it. And that's where we kind of took advantage of it. And they was taking it for granted, going lackadaisical passes, shooting fast shots, and that just gave us opportunities to get our offense back rolling and to get easy shots and just make it difficult on them to come down and hold that lead.
Lucky, the team was struggling a little bit late. It was down 11. And in hindsight, your three-pointer kind of got the team going. Was it mindset for you that you knew you had to start making shots?
No. One thing I tell my team in the huddle, it's not just my team, it's the team, it's Robert Moore's team as a whole. I just told them that we can't allow them, just because they are shooting threes from wherever, we can't allow that to bring us down. And one thing Carvel told me, and walking on the court, he said we're not going to lose this game at home. And I wasn't really into it as much, but he gave me a spark to just to stay up. You got to shoot the ball. And when I let it go, I knew it was good, and I was just going to keep on flying for everyone else. And that's why Lump hit one, Carvel hit another one, and had to pull up. And once one person go, everybody's going, and that's what gave us the lead tonight and the win.
Carvel, Lucky, you guys have had big shots in the past. How would you evaluate a freshman like Jeremiah coming up and getting a three-pointer? I know you guys believe he can make those. He's shown that he can, but to do it in that situation, what's that show?
It's just meaning that he's grown up, he's maturing, he just got to do a little bit more extra little things, and he is, in my opinion, and I know coaches and players as well, he's probably the best freshman in the conference. And I'm not trying to put a lot of pressure on him, but if he continues to stay humble and hungry, big nights like this or certain occasions of making a shot is a piece of cake. We do it every day in practice. He helps us out when the blue team is down. He's the spark, and that's the kind of guy he is. He got that hunger, he has that fight, and he's going to continue to improve each and every night.
Jeremiah, your thoughts when you went to the line there for the last two? You think it was a piece of cake?
Kind of just take deep breaths. I mean, in the timeout, coaches, all the players, just take your time. You can knock them down. Going to the line, just talking to myself, going through my routine every time I shoot free throws, and just went down.
Carvel, how hot of a shooter have you felt here these last couple of games? And when you missed a couple there in the second half, what were you telling yourself?
Missing shots is, it happens. I have very good confidence in myself and in my shooting ability. And, you're going to miss shots, but I always tell myself, if I miss however many in a row, the next one's going to go in. As a shooter or a scorer, you can't get down on yourself when you miss a couple shots. Then it takes away from your game, your aggressiveness, and that's just how I am. I don't really, I wouldn't say care, but it doesn't bother me when I miss shots because I feel like the next time I shoot it, it's going to go in.
Carvel, at the end of the first half, you put up three-pointers, made it, and turned around and smiled. I don't know who you were smiling at. I don't know if it was number 2, between Francis. What was all that about?
No, it was somebody in the crowd. It wasn't to my opponent.
Oh, fan in the crowd?
Fan in the crowd.
Okay.
Carvel,
No.
even if you weren't smiling at him, how much fun were you having though? Obviously you don't want him to score, but you guys were going back and forth, tied at 17 points each at halftime. That has to be pretty fun now.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun these past few games. I've been enjoying myself, and that's what it's all about. When you start to let the game stretch you a little bit, then that wears you down. And I'm just going out and playing fun, and and playing free. And he was doing the same thing. He's a very good player, a very aggressive player. He's going to be a very good player in this league, while he's here. And he started rolling. you know, it was fun to be able to go back to back with him. You know, we started talking to each other a little bit, you know, just having fun with each other. But, you know, it was fun.
3-0, and talk a little bit about the significance of that. After that one, you got 4 in a row at home. 3-0 in the league.
You know, Saturday, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. Number one is because, you know, they have a great fan base every time we come out there. Number two, they're a great team, and I believe they just took down Wagner. And number three is a statement. You know, I know we had, 5 and 10 coming into the conference. You know, everybody's saying Robert Morris is not this, Robert Morris is not that. And, you know, they got certain guys on that team and certain guys across the league that's doing their thing. But one thing they got to keep in mind is that, you know, we don't play no slouches in our conference. And Saturday, we'll just have to keep expressing on the court why we are still the same Robert Morris team as in the past. We want to continue to get stops, continue to fly around, have fun, and shoot them threes.
Nice. To add on that, you know, returning guys, you should know why that game's gonna be a fun game for us. You know, we got a lot we need to get off our chest.
A whole lot.
Any questions, these guys?
I just want to say, may y'all please retweet and retweet and retweet my quote. We want to thank every Robert Morris fan that came out and helped us out in this win tonight. Because without them, I believe we would have not won this game. With the crowd and the emotions, and the last time I heard the crowd stomp like that was when we beat Kentucky. And if we have performances like that when we get to the deeper in conference.
So obviously, thankful to have won the game. I think that's the best way to describe it, as being thankful. Thought we did a lot of good things in the first, 33, 34 minutes, probably the first 30 minutes, and then we allowed them some opportunities to make some shots, which allowed them to obviously take the lead. But thankful we were able to kind of put it together there in that last 440 and steal a win.
Were you surprised to see Willie Carmen come out and have 17 points in the first half?
No, I mean, he's averaging 9. I thought the first 2 threes that he made were basically uncontested threes. The first one especially was a big-time defensive breakdown by Lucky, where he just stared at him and watched him shoot it. And so a lot of times when guys can shoot and score and they see the ball go in the basket a couple times, they start to, be aggressive. And then the scouting report for us on him was, in transition, he's really good and aggressive attacking the rim, and he did that. One time he blew by Kayvon, got fouled a couple times doing that, got a 3-point play doing that. So if we could stick to scouting report on occasion, we might be a little more effective defensively.
Coach, in the first half, I think they get 0 points out of the high post or the short corner almost in their approach against the zone. The second half, Drennan gets 8 all by himself out of that area. What were some of the adjustments that you think they made coming in the second half that allowed them to be so successful?
They kind of spaced us a little bit more on the top of the zone, which extended our guards, and that opened up the high post a little bit. In the first half, they were kind of trying to work the baseline in the back of the zone, which allowed our guards to sink in a little bit and take away that high post. And then once they started to make a couple threes, it made it harder and harder to protect the high post. When you have a guy like Ben Malad-Manir making a shot with his heels on the volleyball line, it's hard to say protect the high post. Some of those threes that they made in that second half were pretty impressive shots.